that my nervous system is not functioning properly. So it's in the areas where I have CRPS, so that's from the waist down, it's constantly firing off really, really high pain signals to my brain saying that I'm in extreme pain. So my skin's very sensitive, and it really affects my mobility in those areas.
So just how bad does the pain get? And I ask you that because, we all experience different forms of pain at different times and we have different thresholds. But what's it like for you, Ruby?
I mean, the pain is constant, and as it's got worse over the last few years, the constant level has bumped up the pain scale. But when it's really bad, I mean, it's through the roof, an 11 out of 10, because my body spasms when my pain levels are quite high. So my whole body will just be writhing and spasming and constant pain. So I mean, and 11 out of 10 when it gets really bad.
So what do you do then when you're in that situation? So say, for instance, somebody suffers with a migraine, and I've had 2 of them in my life, and I know that means that you almost have to go into a dark room, shut yourself off, and just try and get through it. What's it like for you when you're going through these pain spasms?
Yeah, I mean, I mainly like to be on my own because I think that it's really difficult for my family because they can't really do anything to help in that situation. I'll have taken all the relevant painkillers and everything else. So I generally like to just be in bed on my own and, ride the wave and wait till it finishes, which can sometimes be hours and hours.
Now, you're hoping to get some surgery, aren't you? Tell us about that.
I am. So I'm hoping to get spinal cord stimulation surgery, which is essentially when a generator is put under the skin. They sometimes call it a pain pacemaker, and they connect up to the spine, and it essentially interferes with the pain pathways going up to the brain. I am hoping to have that, and hence why I'm fundraising at the moment.
Yeah. So the target was £35,000. I know you've smashed that because I checked last night. You're a little bit over it, but you need to keep going a little bit more, don't you?
I do, yeah. I mean, when I started the campaign, I didn't really think it'd get very far, so I thought, I'll put the lowest amount it could cost, just so I didn't want to end up fundraising over that and then having excess sort of funds left. But now I've had contact with the hospital and I know everything, and also the GoFundMe amount is taxed and there are transaction fees, so I need to raise a little bit more to get the full amount. So I need to get to about 38 on the GoFundMe total.
Am I right in saying that you hit that target within 3 months?
It was just over 3.5 months, so it's been a bit of a whirlwind. It's been crazy how generous people have been.
Do you know most of the people that have donated, or has a lot of it come from random people?
Oh, almost all of it's come from random people. I mean, I'm a student, so most of my sort of like immediate network, we're all skin students. Majority of it's been people I don't know through social media and Twitter and things like that. I mean, there's been almost 1,000 donors, so yeah, it's just amazing.
That's fantastic, isn't it? Why do you think that is? Is it because your story is quite unique, do you think?
I mean, yeah, perhaps. I think it's maybe my age. I think because, I mean, I've been as honest as I can be with everything that I've put out there to do with my illness. So I've on my GoFundMe page, I've been really quite honest and raw about how it affects me. And I think maybe that resonated with a few people, particularly because I'm at the moment where it's affecting my studies. I can't study, I can't work, and I think that perhaps people see that and think that they'd like to help. So it's been absolutely amazing. I'd never expected it to gain the support that it has.
Well, I was going to ask you about your studies because you're in Bath, aren't you, at the university there doing economics?
I am, yeah. So a lot of students at Bath do a 12-month placement year in their third year and then go back for their fourth year to finish their studies. So I was doing my placement year working in London in an economic research firm, which I was loving. It was really exciting. But my condition it's getting worse anyway, and it got very bad when I was there. So I had to leave that a few months in and move home. So I'm due to start my final year of studies this September coming. But obviously at the moment, I'm not well enough to do that.
I worked with a guy who had an allergy to kiwi fruit. And before he'd come into work in a different place at the BBC, he'd have to flag the fact that he's allergic to it to the point where he can't be anywhere near a kiwi fruit. And there was pictures that were put everywhere to say this. Now, I just wonder from your situation, Ruby, when you go to work for someone or go to study, do you have to flag up that you have this condition and that it causes you this pain every so often?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that since my conditions got worse, those really high pain levels that I was describing happen, almost every day. And the spasming happens very, very regularly throughout the day. So it's become to the point when I can't really hide it. Like when I first started at my placement, I sort of tried to minimise it a bit and be like, well, yeah, I've got this disability, but it's nothing to worry about, won't affect my work. And then as I sort of started to get a month or two in, it was like, no, I really do need to tell them. But it's a very difficult thing to adjust with work. And I do actually hope that, because obviously now everyone's working from home at the moment, and I hope that now that companies have had to implement that will carry forward and can be beneficial for people with conditions like mine, so they are a bit more flexible and can work from home.
Now, you're 21, so have you always had this condition, or when did it sort of first happen?
So it started when I was 8, so it's been a long old journey, and the pain started in my foot and it spread up throughout my body. I lost movement in my arm for quite a while with it. And then it was also in my back, and it improved throughout my teens, which was great, in my foot and my arm. So the pain was just left in my back.
Right.
But then now obviously it's spread again over the last few years. So I was in and out of a wheelchair as a kid, and on crutches and things. So I had a few years when it was not as bad in my teens, but obviously it's gone the other direction and got a lot worse again.
Do you know what? There'll be a lot of people who've been struggling to sleep in this lockdown situation through anxiety or mental health issues right now, but actually listening to you, it might make people feel a little bit better in the fact that you have this every 45 minutes, this pain that wakes you up. How do you get proper serious sleep, Ruby? Is there anything you can do, or do you have to go to bed earlier in the sense that you're going to be waking up several times through the night and lying longer? How do you cope with that?
Yeah, see, I mean, I don't really. I think this was the issue I had when I was on my placement working, because I was working 9-10 hours a day, and there was just not enough time left in the day to get sufficient sleep. By the time you've got home, had dinner, and then I would go to bed, but then because I'd wake up so much, I was only getting 2 or 3 hours sleep a night in total. So at the moment it's better because I'm living at home with my parents, so I can sleep a little bit in the night, but then also sleep in the later on in the morning and in the day when I need to. So it's just sort of, I mean, my friends have described me like a cat before. I just sort of sleep whenever I fancy it. It's obviously not as easy as that, but yeah, so it's a lot of sleeping throughout the day, which is again why studying and working is so difficult.
So when do you think you can have your surgery, and is there anything that we can do to point people towards your fundraising page?
Thank you. So the surgery at the moment is obviously everything's on pause because of the pandemic. So hopefully it will be when elective surgeries start to, get the ball rolling again. So that hopefully in a few months, might be a little bit longer. So yeah, we're sort of unsure at the moment about when I'll be able to have it. But it's great because obviously the funds are near what we need. So when they do give the green light, we can move forward. And that's really exciting because that's obviously the closest I'm getting to starting to feel better and having my pain levels reduced. My fundraising page, so it's on GoFundMe. I reckon the easiest way to search it's probably just to search my name in GoFundMe, which is Ruby Chamberlain. And of course, any donation or sharing the page or any support at all that people can offer would just be massively appreciated. This surgery is going to make a huge difference and allow me to get back to work, get back to university, finish my degree, and start living my life, because at the moment it's just on pause. So yeah, any help at all would be hugely appreciated.
Well, bless you, Ruby. Thank you so much for being so open and sharing your story with us this morning. That's Ruby Chamberlain from Houghton on the Hill. She's 21. She has this complex condition, regional pain syndrome, and she just needs a little bit extra for fundraising to make this surgery happen later in the year. So very best of luck with that, Ruby. And please do come on and tell us how you're getting on with that journey a little bit later. Right, 5 minutes to 8. Little something from you this morning to perk us all up.
Oh, I love the little things you say, and I love the little things you do. Let's stay forever together this way. My love, I'm so in love with you.
So that's I Love the Little Things from Matt Monro, and we want to celebrate the little things in your world, little pure bits of joy that you can share with us that I can pass on to everyone else. We just feel we need this Tuesday morning. So something very minute that's brought a little bit of joy to your life. It can be today, this morning already, it can be yesterday. Whatever it is, can you share it with me? 81333 first word Leicester. So this is one from my producer Sophie. So she says, now that I can go and enjoy a coffee again at one of my favourite coffee shops, I decided to download their app. In doing so, they've given me a free coffee. Yesterday, we don't normally do this, but we ordered our shopping online at the supermarket. A couple of extra items in the bag. We told the supermarket, they said, don't worry about it, keep it. Blueberries and spinach. We're trying to be a bit healthier. So that's the kind of thing we're after from you this morning. The little wins in your life, the little things that have brought some joy to you. 81333 to text first word Leicester. 81333 first word Leicester. Okay, let's talk a bit about now how this whole coronavirus situation is having an impact on jobs and what may or may not be happening as far as concerned to the organisations and companies and how they're going to calculate their losses. Well, one charity, Ageing Better, has launched a new report on the challenges faced by people over 50 and the barriers they face to getting back to work in the wake of the COVID crisis. Millie Brown joins me now. Morning, Millie.
Morning.
So what kind of experiences are you witnessing on your workers during this pandemic?
So through this report called Back on Track, we kind of looked at what barriers over 50s face as part of employment problems. So overall, there's a big lack of confidence, even their ability or the perceived likelihood of an organisation employing them, maybe because of ageism, offers them unsuitable training, changes the way that job seekers are expected to find and apply for jobs. They're not versed in these ways, and also underdeveloped digital skills. Also, people don't take into account that many people over 50 have caring responsibilities or health needs. There's a lack of opportunity for flexible working to accommodate these needs, especially during this pandemic.
So what kind of changes are you calling for to the current services?
So at the moment, we kind of need a change in support. The current support systems are not sufficient enough to get over 50s back into work. So all that we ask is that training, for example, looks at people's experiences and knowledge. It builds upon that and it provides them more knowledge to get back into the workforce. We also want all support to be tailored. Over 50s aren't a homogenous group, as we know, so we need to take into account that the support given to them recognises where they flourish and where they may need help. We also, as I said, about managing health conditions and caring for family members, there needs to be a boost in job opportunities that's flexible to suit those needs.
I think people who are over 50, 60, 70, even 80 now, it's a lot different to what it used to be years ago. People are living longer, are healthier, have an awful lot to offer. Millie, what do you suggest to somebody who's listening to this who still has years to go in terms of work, but maybe feeling a bit anxious about when things get back to this new normal?
Yeah, of course, we completely appreciate that. And that's why we're doing this work, really. Because on Wednesday, obviously, Rishi Sunak is doing his summer update, and we want to be included in that reference to over 50s, how we're going to support them through this pandemic, how are we going to support them to tailor them to make sure they come out of this on the other side happy. So what we're asking is, as a personal advice thing, is to keep going and to be confident, but we're working with the government, hopefully, to ensure they get the support to get back to work.
Millie Brown, thank you for joining us here on BBC Radio Leicester this morning. Now, this was a programme that was on Radio 4 before lockdown, but I suggest you listening to it if you are over 50. And it might just provide you with a bit of confidence in going back to work, but it's something I enjoyed listening to. It's called Retiring Retirement. The programme's in business. And it says, I'll just read this to you, life expectancy is going up, pensions are declining. Meanwhile, the official retirement age has been abolished, while the age at which you can draw your state pension is rising. As a result, more and more of us will have to work until our 70s and even our 80s. So ask David Baker, is this the end of retirement? And what he's done is he's gone through and spoken to various different people who actually are being asked to go back into work who are over 50 because of the experience that people have in life. But also people over a certain age who've started up new businesses. Now, I appreciate that is before the coronavirus pandemic and the lockdown situation, but you never know what nuggets of information and advice might be in there that inspire you to do more. After 9 o'clock this morning, we'll be talking to Sanj Townsley, who will have lots of advice if you're over the age of 50 and want help getting back into work. Right, that and much more to come after 8 o'clock.
On the